I guess I was the mouthy one out of the group, and he said, you make a good candidate. Next thing I know, I was a candidate. I lost the campaign in 1959, and I knew that the moment I lost it, that it was time for us to go back and start working on the next campaign, because we didn't lose by that much. And we knew what we had to do for the next campaign. I mean, the first campaign was really a learning lesson, and all of us were novices. The only person that knew something about politics was Walt Cooper and Dick Wade, but we didn't know anything about politics. But we believed in what we were doing, and I think that's half the battle. John and I went to Montgomery and to Selma, to both of those, and I was working at Montgomery Neighborhood Center at the time. And I remember saying, and I was working with, teenagers, and telling them that I was going to Alabama. Right. And the kids say, Ms. Mitchell, what you going to Alabama for? I said, honey, if you don't know, I don't have no business going. And that, it really sunk in that I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to Alabama. I should be keeping my rump right here in Rochester and do what needs to be done in this community, because we had a lot of work to be done. But you felt you wanted to make a contribution, so this was our way of making a contribution. But after Selma, I vowed I'd never go back south. At that time, I just didn't believe we could change anything, because there was so much hatred on that march from Selma to Montgomery, where the whites were lined up and the epitaphs that were thrown at us. And I just said, we're wasting our time. This will never change. And just to see the hatred on people's faces, I just didn't know people could hate that strongly. I was born and raised in North, and I knew that there was discrimination, and I knew that there were sections where they didn't want blacks to live, but I had never seen that type of hatred on the face of anyone before. One minute you were proud that you were participating in it as you looked around and saw all these other folks, and the next minute you were questioning, why am I doing this? For what reason? There's got to be an easy answer, but it just wasn't there. It forced me to work harder, to come back and work harder, and forced me to take a good look at people that I knew and what was going on in my own community. And all of a sudden I could see where we had a lot of work to do right here in Rochester, and I didn't have no business being in Selma, Alabama, or any place else. And I came back and started working twice as hard.